The health department says one of the 131 pupils who ate contaminated food remains in hospital but is out of danger. The children from Gobizizwe Agricultural School near Mthatha were rushed to hospital yesterday. This is the latest in a series of school-related food safety scares in the province and across the country. Newzroom Afrika's Liyema Vumisa is following that story for us and joins us now live for more. Liyema, very good afternoon to you. Quite concerning that we still have issues of food contamination at schools, especially in areas within the Eastern Cape. Are we getting any responses, particularly from the school, with regards to where this contamination could have emanated from?
Very good afternoon to you, Katlego. Currently, we do not have any response as far as the Department of Education is concerned. All we understand then is their sentiment around the incident that occurred yesterday at about 1 p.m. where over 70 initially learners had, that food scare, which was as a result of something that they had eaten. The sentiment from the Department of Education thus far is that they're still waiting for the preliminary investigations that are still underway from the Department of Health. But as it stands, that number had jumped from 70 to over 131, and of course that number was very alarming for the officials, and since then they have been dispatching various ambulances to go then to check at the school. But when we woke up today, Katlego, what we understand was that that number at least subsided, with only one student or rather learner that was remaining at this hospital right behind me, that is the Mthatha Regional Hospital, where we understand it then that he has also since been in a stable condition. But new developments around this very same issue, Katlego, is that currently some of the students that were discharged from yesterday and also from today have since returned. So they are basically readmitted back to this very same hospital. About 32 of them currently, we understand, is the number of those learners who, came back after the first encounter that they had after they had allegedly eaten then that poisoned food from the school. So some of the conversations that we tried to gather inside the hospital from the parents of the learners and also from the learners themselves is, of course, the issue about the symptoms, the recurring symptoms that they had overnight and leading up to the early morning of today, and also the parents, also mentioning that they were not told by the school as to, what might have been the reason behind this. All we understand, and also all they understand as parents, is that it was as a result of what was eaten at the school having been supplied by an external supplier, not what is termed as a school nutrition program that is meant for the learners of the school. We understand then that the food items include rice and also a canned fish. I did take the liberty then, Katlego, earlier on when we did visit the school, that is Gobizizwe Agricultural High School. I did take the liberty to look at some of the cans that were disposed of course, following that very same incident, and checked the expiry date of those very same canned fish. And I can confirm that, in fact, that expiry date is 2028, which rules out any possibility of them having eaten those food because of them having been expired. Now, some of the speculation from the parents that were in the school and visited the school and also went to fetch some of their learners is that they believe it has something to do with, spiritual beliefs and, something of the higher power nature that might have occurred and, in fact, even deterred the learners from being able to focus and thus affecting them, physically with the symptoms that they were exhibiting, vomiting, diarrhea, seizures, just to mention a few of those symptoms. So currently, the Department of Health has since, released a statement stating that they did, in fact, dispatch all their personnel to be able to attend to the current incident that is befalling the students of the Gobizizwe Agricultural High School. In fact, when we were visiting that very same school, we did see those ambulances going in back and forth to try and check whether or not the learners are, in fact, doing okay. Some of them in this hospital have been queuing from the very morning, including the 32 that have since been readmitted, also complaining about those very same recurring symptoms that, arose overnight.
Do we know the severity of these returning symptoms? Out of the 32, I believe you mentioned, that have gone back to hospital, are they out of danger?
Well, I'm not sure I did get the first part of your question, Katlego, but certainly I presume you are talking about danger as far as this issue is concerned. Well, what we understand is that, as you rightfully mentioned and alluded to there earlier on in your intro, is that this is not the very first of its kind, the incident that involves alleged suspected food poisoning in certain schools. You'd recall in the earlier years, this very same incident was in fact, befalling some of the learners in this very same province of the Eastern Cape in different towns. So as of whether or not they are out of danger, these learners and even, the other schools that are concerned in the province, that still remains to be seen. Because as far as we understand, what seems to be, the common issue in all of these schools is that the issue is the school nutrition program and also the suppliers that in fact supply these schools with the food. So as much, for as long as those nutritional programs are still in place, there will always be, scares of whether or not the learners are going to, in fact be poisoned by the food allegedly having been supplied by those various suppliers.